Hey there, folks. Andre, the Game Idea Guy here, and yeah, Bungie is looking a little bit cooked there, like they've been filleted and fried up on a. You know what? I'm not even going to run with that analogy because it just sounded weird to me, so I'm going to stop. Either way, Bungie's having some trouble. They are having, as Pete Parsons said, some financial troubles. Um, it sucks because they just lost 220 members of their workforce from that particular company. That's a pain in the butt. That is a pain in the butt. Hopefully, the majority of those people will find work elsewhere. If not everyone, or they'll start their own independent studios and be able to do what they really want to do with developing games. That said, it sucks to see companies having to lay off people when it's actual layoffs, and it's one of those things where it's like, is there nothing we can do to have to lay off this many people? Like send them without working? And we're not talking contractors. We're talking about people directly employed with Bungie. That's a pain in the butt, man. Oh, it sucks. It really sucks. So it came out that along with this, the same day it was actually discovered that since the Sony acquisition of Bungie, Pete Parsons has spent in the range of roughly $2.3 million, and that's potentially because part of that comes from bonuses. Some of his money was spent on vintage cars. It doesn't really do a full breakdown of everything. But from the time frame where they had their last more minor set of layoffs to this one, he's spent around $500,000 on vintage cars. And again, potentially due to having bonuses, which means he's getting extra money based on how well the company is doing. But if the company is not doing all that well, doesn't that call things into question? Now, just to make sure all grounds are covered, maybe he had extra money saved up. And that's where this extra expenditure has come from and is not based on bonuses. But that would require behind the scenes knowledge to be certain. But optically, this is horrible. This is horrible optically because you have the same person who tells everyone about the layoffs being the person that has spent a large amount of money that is employed by the company. That looks grossly negligent at best. And at worst, it seems like the employees are being canned so that those that are in higher up positions can still get their bonuses and play around with extra money. Now, I'm not saying that that's exactly what happened, but that's what it looks like. And if it looks like that, you're going to get a crap ton of backlash. You're going to get a lot of people who are angry and upset coming out to plead their case. There were plenty of people who go online and report, like, yeah, I was just told that my position's good. My job is good. They need me here. And then I get laid off. Like, bro, what? Why? But it happens. Yeah, there was one person that apparently got promoted, never announced their promotion, but ended up canned About a month later. That's a pain in the butt to me. Imagine you just got promoted, you thinking you're about to move on to bigger and better things, and then they just axe you. That that mm, that could do a little something to your mentals. Plus, it's just the timing of all how all this information came out. The timing of the way this information came out does not look good at all. And it does call into question, like, why are CEOs, CFOs, and higher ups in a company still getting performance bonuses if they have to mass lay off staff? That's something to consider. Why are their employers or people in higher up positions still making these extra bonuses that would do well to go back into the company if they have to keep laying off staff in large amounts? Well, because you could say, well, hey, yeah, we have to have our profit margins to a certain point, and that's how they get their bonuses. And hey, if axing a bunch of people gets them to that bonus, there's plenty of people that would do that without question. Again, I can't say this is for certain. This is just me going through potential scenarios before someone says, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." I'm telling you, I don't per se. I'm just considering the options of how this situation can play out the way it is. That said, if I believe personally, if you have to lay off a substantial portion of your staff, like say more than 10% of it, then you shouldn't be getting any sort of bonuses. Just to put that out in the air. I'm not saying that that's what's happening, because he could just have had money stashed off in the background. We don't know what other forms of potential income he has, because that money that he spent may not even be related to Bungie. Again, it's just the timing of how information came out. It looks horrible. Even when I first saw it, that's where my mind went immediately. Is like, dang, he's got buku bucks out here spending, and they can lay off 200 plus people. That's a full studio at that point. But after being able to think about it, like, maybe he has other forms of income outside of this. We don't know specifically. It would require knowing how much money he's getting from Bungie and how much he's spending relative to how much the employees that they laid off would actually be making. We don't have all that information. And unfortunately, like, there's not much that can be said about it either. It just, it looks horrible, and I know for the employees it feels crappy, or for the former employees it feels crappy, especially if the person that you were, like, I don't think he specifically told each and every one of them they had to go, but the person that's in charge of setting your positions, and it basically gives a report saying, yeah, we had to lay off about 220 employees. And then it comes out, oh, but this guy spent $2.3 million dollars, and most recently $500,000 between the time frame when he had to let go of other employees to when he just let you guys go. Tell me that wouldn't make you agitated or upset or a little bit pissed off. Tell me that wouldn't make you angry. Tell me you wouldn't feel like you were cast aside so this man could still go spending money on vintage cars and potentially spending money out on boat trips. Tell me that wouldn't upset you and that those thoughts wouldn't run through your mind. Now, for the very few people that would not have that thought process because they probably have better insight on things, you are the outlier. Because the majority of people would get pissed off. So it's I'm not even trying to demonize Pete Parsons because I don't know the full scale of the situation. But I do know that people are calling for him to be removed. Again, I don't know the full scale of the situation, so I'm not going to pretend I do know. I'm not going to pretend I'm privy to information other people aren't. All I'm going to say is it looks horrible. It looks terrible. It's bad for morale for the people that are there. And you just released the well-received final chapter to the story of Destiny 2. And people are now being laid off right behind that. Of course, people are going to question things. It's the natural thing to do. Even if you are the person that says, no, I'm not drawing comparisons between myself and them. If you were in the position of the people that just got laid off and you find out that the person that's in charge was spending a massive amount of money, you're going to feel slighted. You're going to feel slighted because then you will look at the information that's coming out and scrutinize each and every one of those purchases that you learned about and compare that to your wages or the average of the wages of the lower level workers in the company and be like, oh, yep, that was 50 employees right there. Oh, that was 60 employees right there. Oh, man, that was another 70 developers that they just got rid of with that purchase. And for those people that are going through that and for the developers out there, I really do hope all you guys find positions or you do end up opening up, your own independent studios and finding success because I don't like when people are given the crap end of the stick. And it's understandable that you would feel that way. Heck, I saw that, and the first thought was, man, damn, he laid off a bunch of people to spend some extra money. Again, natural reaction. It only took me to stop and think about it for a moment and be like, oh, hold on, maybe that's not the case completely. I don't want to assume it is for several reasons. But it's just that there's always potential chance there's some information we don't have that could be prevalent to this particular situation that we don't really know yet. And just to quickly clarify, I'm not here trying to defend Pete Parsons either, but because he could actually just be a complete piece of human garbage. I don't know. Is all. That's all I'm saying. So I'm essentially just playing devil's advocate here that there may be more information that we're missing. Now, my thoughts would definitely lean more towards the people that were released from the company because they're the ones that are in the bad position. And I'm going to be more concerned about them than the guy that can spend a couple mil on some vintage cars and other trinkets. Forgive me if I'm not so concerned about him. It's just something to consider, and it is, again, it is a bad look. It is a very bad look, especially for that information come out the same day. But that also makes me think, whoever figured this out was waiting for a moment to pull the trigger, and they pulled it at the perfect time to make this look as horrible as possible. I hadn't even really talked about that aspect of this, but whoever had that information was holding on to it Because there's no way that they just happened to do this the same day. So whoever had that information was holding on to this and pulled the trigger on it the same day. That is wild that someone would have this type of information and pull the trigger like that. Because let's be fair, if they really cared that much about the employees, they would have done this well before he goes out and announces the layoffs. There's no way you can tell me that this information just became available. No way you can tell me this information just became available. Nah, this somebody was already keeping an eye on what he was doing. And the moment those employees got laid off, he was like, oh yeah, you know what? Let me drop this right now. That is crucial timing. And it works twofold. The negative side of it is that there are going to be people who don't believe that it's worthwhile information and that those things are unrelated. But it's also the best time to bring it up when there is a large amount of layoffs for a particular company. And the person speaking about the layoffs is also someone spending a lot of money. It is painfully obvious as to why this information came out the same day. That's all I'm saying. But again, my thoughts are still with the employees that lost their jobs. That's where my mind is. Now, eventually, we probably will see more information on this. I'm hoping we do, because this one in particular, I kind of want to follow up on because something still doesn't feel completely right to me. And I think it's because we need more information. Something's just not clicking well with me, like there's something missing. But I'm not going to drag this out anymore. I think I've said enough. Thank you guys very much for listening in. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games and peace out. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy, and I'd like to thank you once again for tuning in. If you would be interested in supporting my efforts in content creation, please head on over to Amazon and look up The Game Idea Guy Presents Gaming Word Search, and you will find both Volume 1 and Volume 2 up for sale. Thank you very much once again, and I hope to be able to create more content for you in the future. Peace out.